Hello guys, I thought I'd do something a little bit different this time. Instead of just running essentially the video and just watching me go around and around in circles, just chat a little bit about what's going on and everything else that goes with it. I was meant to race in the kind of warm-up race Wednesday last week. However, I pretty much got snowed in and didn't make it. As many of you probably know, and sorry for banging on about it, but kind of mental health plays a huge role in my life. So ADHD and absolutely, I suppose it used to be called Asperger's and so on and so forth. And the way my brain works isn't quite like everybody else. So all I'd done was dwell on that, beat myself up, and essentially just feel pretty rubbish about not being able to make it Wednesday. Nobody's fault, nobody can change it, that's just the way my brain works. So couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything, and it got to Saturday and there was an open race at South Coast Karting, which I thought, well, kind of, let's just go for it because it might just get me back on track. And so I paid up about an hour before I meant to arrive and drove all the way down and got there on time to see that there was about 20 odd other people there, a few from the actual series that I've signed up to do at South Coast Karting, which was good to see, and come and introduce themselves, which is always ace because I'm not very good at going up and chatting to other people. So it's always nice when people kind of pick me out and come over and have a natter, because it's you can get a whole load of information and so on and so forth. But it's a bit of a strange one. I think this race has kind of cemented that this is what I want to do. With ADHD, you pick things up and put things down very quickly. I've now been doing this nearly coming up a year, which is the longest I've ever done anything. So something must be going right. But I think with today, or say Saturday's race, it was an eye-opener. I learnt a heck of a lot, and it's definitely put my feet firmly on the ground. I think the problem, again, the way my brain works is that I managed to beat somebody in an open race last time in the rain, and it's probably more luck than judgment. So you start getting that niggling in the back of your head thinking, well, actually I could do quite well with this, and so on and so forth. And you think, oh, I could do all right, and then you turn up on a Saturday and get beaten by a load of people that don't go karting. So it certainly makes you kind of open your eyes and think, well, actually I'm very far from being decent. But that's the problem with my brain. It flip-flops from one thing to the other, and it kind of puts you up on almost like a pedestal where you're sat there thinking, well, actually, I could go on, I could do this, and when you don't, and when you kind of get this swift kick, you want to pack it all in, because you're not Lewis Hamilton, you're not Max Verstappen, you're just some fat middle-aged bloke that's going around in a hire car, and the reality then kicks in and you think, well, what's the point? If I can't be the best at something, what's the point? And that's a massive thing that comes with ADHD, is that you beat yourself up over everything. My little girls have got the same, and it's difficult because they then don't want to try anything because the fear of failure. So I live with that fear of failure of everything all the time, and when it doesn't go right, there's not much I can do about it. I mean, I don't kick off, I don't do anything. It's exactly the same what happened the other day. I got battered off the track, as you'll see, and I got hit, and I got bumped, and I got everything else. But I in the moment, you kind of shout and scream a bit, but afterwards it is fine, because at the end of the day, we're all there just to enjoy ourselves and have a bit of fun. However, even yesterday and today, which is Monday, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I could have done that different. I could have done this. Why did I do that? Why did I do this? Nobody cares. Nobody else cares. Someone will go and race on the Saturday and not ever think of it ever again. Whereas the way my brain works, I sit there and I dwell and I dwell and I dwell. And I think perhaps just doing this video and just kind of getting it off my chest, no one's going to listen, no one's going to watch, but it's going to make me feel a million times better for just kind of saying it. However, what usually happens is, as I said, I will just stop now because I come sixth, what's the point? And that'll be the end of it and knock it all on the head. But what has changed is that I'm now thinking, well, I come sixth after being battered off the track. I'm not sure if I got all the way back to last place and pulled it back up to sixth or whatever, but I was catching. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's just a load of random people going around on the track. It doesn't matter. But at the time, you kind of think, well, it does. And then parts of me, it kind of catches me up and says, well, it does matter. But Whereas someone else will be able to do a bit of karting once a month and not think of it. Just as a social, a get together, and that's all it. That's all it is, and you can pick it up and put it down. The way my brain works is that if I'm doing something, it's encapsulating. It's everything I do. It's all I think about. And I can't get away from that. So what I've learnt to do is try and spread things out a bit more. So I love my cars. I love reading about cars. I Xbox. I sim race. So I'm trying to not make karting the be all and end all, even though sometimes it feels like it is. So it's a bit of a strange situation. It's really a love hate thing, and people won't understand it unless they're kind of in your shoes almost. As I say, because everything is my fault. It's personal. It's everything that goes on. Whereas everybody else that's racing, it's nothing. It's nothing. So, but I know it's bizarre because I can see how I feel is wrong, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I just got to accept it. That's the way I am. That's the way things work, and that's what I got to live with. So, but karting has helped massively. I say started taking meds last year, beginning of last year. That's helped massively. I've got into karting. It's kept me going. Everyone's been mega supportive. And I do my best not to stand out like a sore thumb and look like a bit of a div and so on and so forth. So it's I'm trying because usually what I'll do is I'll start asking too many questions, bothering too many people, then they get fed up with me, then I perceive that they get fed up with me, and then I'll never do it again because I'm worried that they think I'm a bit of a div. So it's so tough. But the way I look at it, this time last year, if I would have think of finishing 6th in any race against anyone, I would have taken that and I would have been extremely happy. So at the end of the day, I got out, I got some fresh air, I felt better for it. I set my fastest lap time, I was quickest in practice, and then qualifying I just couldn't get my groove. It was quite a few stops and starts and red flags from kind of people ending up on top of tyres and going through pit walls and being smashed off track and so on and so forth. So it's quite a physical day out. My knee and my elbow are showing signs of being smacked into the wall at kind of, I suppose, not far from top speed going down the straight there and just being absolutely kind of clattered into the side. I made loads of mistakes myself. From the video you see, I went up the back of someone because I presumed they were going to brake later like I was, but they didn't, so I smacked them, and you live and learn. And for this, it doesn't affect anyone. Nobody cares. I shouldn't care, but again, that's kind of the way I work. So, but anyway, I'll stop nattering on. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you out on track. So I'll be out there next month racing in the first round. Cheers, guys.